Recording. Hey guys, it's Stephanie here, and we are back with another Business Owner Spotlight. If you've been following this series, this has become probably one of the coolest things I've done on YouTube up until this point. I get to sit down with incredible business owners who may have never had the chance to get out there and get their name shared and get to share their story and their tips. But I have to say, with this business owner, she probably has the chance to get her name out there because she's the editor of the real estate newspaper here in San Antonio, New Braunfels. Courtney, where all do you guys cover?
Yeah, we're in the entire San Antonio Hill Country area. We go out to all San Antonio Board of Realtor members and affiliates, and also go out to the Four Rivers Board members and affiliates. So we're
kind of a big deal.
I would like to think so.
So, by the way, this is Courtney Smith, the editor here. And Courtney, you are also the owner of the paper.
Yes.
How did this, what's your business story? How did you end up becoming a business owner?
It was never my intent to become a business owner. I graduated from college in 2009 in the middle of the recession, couldn't find a job, and got a job working for the newspaper because it was my husband's brother-in-law's mother that owned it. And she took pity on me and gave me a job. And then I just realized that as I worked with her and she became more and more ready to retire, that this job totally fit my skill set. And so I bought her out in 2015, and it's been
ran from there.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's your
my husband's brother-in-law's mother. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you keep that straight.
Connections like that only, big families in San Antonio would know, it's just one of those things. But so I have an ancient Mediterranean studies degree.
Super helpful, very useful, especially when you graduate in 2009.
Right, pretty much. Liberal arts all the way.
Yay! So of this whole process of coming in and taking over the business, what was the hardest part?
Transitioning from an employee mindset to a boss business owner mindset. And I thought I understood where all of my bosses over my tenure with employment were coming from. And then now that I have employees and, have to pay the taxes and have to take all that responsibility and deal with insurance, and I realized, oh my God, I had no idea.
It's funny. I've been going through kind of a growth period for myself, mentally, and I'm seeing my own perspectives shift again. It's almost like an out-of-body experience that you're like, oh, look at how I'm changing my perspective. Yeah. But every single time, once I get to this new plateau, I'm like, oh, I get it. Now I understand. And every time I shift, I'm like, I knew nothing.
Well, and my husband owns a small business, and my in-laws always had a small business, and my parents own a small business. So I really thought I understood how small business worked, and it's just totally different. Once it's really me, and it's my responsibility, and I'm in charge of the livelihood of all these people, it's
so much harder
than it did when it was just everybody that I love.
Yeah. What was probably the biggest mindset shift that you experienced?
I guess just the idea that I never understood the weight of, if it's not about my bills, it's not about me taking my paycheck, it's about my employees being able to, feed their families. It's not about me and how much money I'm going to make. It's about them and how am I going to fulfill the promise I made to them? It's been a huge change, and I think it's helped me as a person too. Having more responsibility is always a good thing. Yeah,
it helps you think about other people more too. We sometimes, just human nature, we have a tendency to kind of think about this is my box and this is my world and this is where I exist, and it kind of forces you to grow.
Yeah, and within the real estate industry, the biggest change was when I was working for the paper. I was totally behind the scenes in the background. I just was in the office all the time. And now I have to go to the events and get to know the people and actually work with people. which is hard for my little introverted soul. And so that's been like something that I really keep trying to just put myself out there a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little more. And I'm probably still not doing as good as I should be. I'm still not doing as much as I should be.
But at least you're taking steps, right?
I am. I'm trying.
Well, so has it just been like literally like, because transitioning from introvert to extrovert is like really, really hard. So is it just you, just a little bit at a time, like go to an event and then go to another event, and that's literally it?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I try to space it so I only go to like 2 or 3 events a week, if that, so I can be like really on and really good for those 2 events or 1 event or 3 events, whatever I do that week. And then the rest of the time I can just be in my office or chilling with my family, with my kid, with my husband, just, you know, the people that I don't mind that know to leave me alone.
You are an introvert, aren't you, over there?
Yes, I am.
That's awesome. Honestly, people don't believe it, but I'm the same way. Like when people invite me out, I'm sure my family's going to watch this one, but I had family come into town this past weekend, and I love my family to death. I really, truly do. But they were like, hey, let's go out. Let's go here. Let's go there. And it was kind of like the only reason I'm saying yes is because you're family.
Yeah.
I'm going to go hang out with you guys because you're family. But like, I really just want to stay home. Like I texted my husband the other day. I said, oh my gosh, it's so lonely here at the house. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. He's at work, right? It was a Saturday. I was sitting at home. And he was like, I'm sorry, I'll be home soon. I was like, no, you don't get it. This is a good thing.
Right? No, it is. It's hard. And like, I'll like, sometimes the events space out where I go to 2 in one day. And that's always a really, really hard day for me. And so my husband will just be like, okay, Courtney, I'm just going to leave you alone. You just sit here. I'll take care of the baby. You just relax in this chair and ignore all of us.
Nice. At least he understands that, because
he's super extroverted, so it's a miracle that he does.
Wow, that's interesting. That is a miracle a little bit. We'll just leave it at that one. Yeah. So I am curious, taking over the business, going through, you know, all of this, what's been the biggest challenge you've run into, and how did you handle it? What did you learn from it?
The biggest challenge has probably been that it was a very established publication. It started in 1982, and the same people had owned it that whole time. And the lady that I bought it from, Candy Carver, is a very wonderful woman, but very flamboyantly over the top, and just everyone knows her. If you either love her or hate her, but you know who she is. And she's great, but she just has this giant personality. I do not. So that's been a big transition for people, like as they're dealing with me instead of her, you know, getting to know me and giving me the chance to build those relationships up has been probably the biggest challenge, because she had all those relationships from 35 years of doing it. And so, and because she's just like the most just loud
personality.
Yeah.
Personality. That's funny. You know, that is, I'm trying to write personality and I'm forgetting how to write it. Personality. There we go. But we do forget, like, especially someone who does have a large personality, like I can have sometimes, it's hard to remember, like, hey, not everyone gets this, and you can't dominate every conversation in every room. Other people, but yeah, it's I can see it from both sides, because that can be very challenging.
Well, and it was just a big transition for a lot of the people that we work with, that I work with now. I mean, to go from someone like that to someone that's more like, hey, super chill, you know, give me yourself when you can. I'm not going to, be crazy or whatever. I don't know. Like, she's not crazy, but I'm
intense, right? Like she was like, hey, you're supposed to get it to me by Friday. And you're like, hey.
Yes, super intense.
Right. So that doesn't, now, were you able to retain a lot of your clients through that?
Most. I mean, as the economy's transitioned up and down, some have come and gone, and we probably kept about 80% transitioned over, which is, pretty good. I mean, I was pretty pleased with it. It was
Yeah,
better than I anticipated.
Whenever we would transition, just because my background, when I first started in sales, it was with a paper as well. And whenever we would transition accounts from one rep to the other, you'd lose anywhere from 40 to 60% usually.
Yeah, no, we've still got about, I'd say probably 70% of those original people and about 80% made the transition over. So,
Nice.
yeah, really, really better than I would have thought, like from the outside looking in. So,
how did you do that? What did you guys do?
I mean, I tried to just keep everything the same. We kept all the same employees. I was just the only cog that changed. And Candy helped in that transition too. I mean, she called all the people and said, you're going to be working with Courtney now, and da, 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 da. So we didn't like spring it on anyone. It was very much a transition. And so nobody was surprised. And I think it also helps that the former owner still, like, once a month will cover something for me. She'll go out and take photos. So she's still out there.
Yeah. So she's still representing it. That's awesome. Where do you see this going? Like, do you eventually want to be her, where someone buys this from you and you?
Oh God, I haven't planned that far out in my life. I haven't planned that far out. I think, like, I have to believe that at some point print's going to die. But at the same time, is it really? Like, if this paper is still thriving now when so much print has already died, to me, that's a sign that it's going to stay.
Yeah.
And in the real estate industry, man, you want to get your picture in that paper. And there is just something really special about seeing yourself in print. There's something more special about that than being on a website. Just, you can clip it. I mean, people have stacks of them from a million years ago, and they can show me, like, oh, I was in the news source, and,
wow.
And, it's a big deal here. And it's just, it's special to see that. So I don't know, in my dreams, I mean, I'll be doing this for another, 30 years and I'll retire. I don't know if that's realistic as a small business, and who knows what's going to happen, but.
Speaking of that, I hadn't even like thought of that connection. What do you do? Like, what are you, because your industry is shifting so rapidly, so quickly. What do you do, or what plans are you guys, or if you can say what plans you're making to handle that? Because as it's going to continue, like, how do you stay up on what's going on so that you don't get blindsided?
I mean, I just always try to keep my ear to the ground. I mean, I've gotten a lot of people in both the publishing industry and in the real estate industry that I don't want to call them my sources or anything. I don't have spies, but I do have, I have a lot of people that feel comfortable talking to me about things. And I'm hopeful I won't just get, totally shocked if something crazy happens.
Well, I know you also spend time working on the learning, like going to learning, trying to put yourself out there to continually learn and read and educate yourself. So that probably helps a lot as well. I
mean, I always want to keep growing. Nobody wants to just be stagnant. I want to continue to be a better and better person so that I can have a better and better business and a better and better life,
Nice. So last question, what is the biggest piece of advice or lesson you've learned that you want to share with other business owners out there?
Okay. So the snippy remark would be pay your taxes. I mean, because I will say the first year I owned my small business, I did not take W-2 income, and I was totally caught off guard in January when I had to pay the tax man. But really, I think my biggest piece of advice would be just to go with the flow. I mean, there's ups and downs in small business. Sometimes people are going, you're going to lose a bunch of clients, but then the next month you might gain a bunch of clients. You just have to be flexible and not freak out. I mean, you have to know that everything's going to turn the corner. And if it's not, then have an exit strategy and be ready to span the whole thing if that's what's supposed to happen. But just know that, like, everything is going to be okay. I've had some freakouts where like I had a month where 5 of my advertisers pushed their ads and I just freaked out because I was like, this is the worst month I've ever had. The business is dying. And then the next month I, added 3 ads and those 5 were back. So it's like, you just have to roll.
It'll even itself out. Yeah. Yes. And every single year I always panic in June and halfway through July, all of a sudden, so June, July, and August are usually like my slowest months.
Right.
This year it was May, June, and July. August has already been like amazing, but May, June. So like halfway through June, I'm like panicking, and somehow I always forget like year after year, like it slows down. May, June, July, chill, relax, breathe. It's fine. And then like I go back and I'm looking through my records and I'm like, oh, I think I remember learning this last year.
Yes, exactly. Like I freaked out. I mean, in the real estate industry pretty much dies in July. I mean, all the people that were selling so hard in the spring have sold. Their realtors are on vacation with their families. Kids aren't in school yet, so everybody's just not really working. So July is perpetually terrible. But I always forget.
I think that's an awesome piece. Actually, you gave like 3 pieces of advice there. That was awesome. I was laughing the other day because I'm doing these interviews, right? And I'm trying to compile all this advice because someone at the end of one of the interviews was like, you should turn these into a book. And I was like, that's a cool idea. So I was trying to compile it and I was panicking because the guy had ended with like this really awesome, like succinct, short, and I didn't write it down word for word. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I lost it. And then I was like, wait, I recorded it.
It's on video. But doesn't everyone give the same advice?
No, actually, I've not gotten the same advice once yet.
That's crazy. That's awesome, though.
I know. I thought that was really cool. The only one that's kind of been a thread through a couple is be persistent. Be persistent. Don't give up. Just go. Keep going. But everyone has a different way of looking at it. So it's been really cool. I thought I was going to get a lot of the same, but honestly, you get a different business owner, different perspective. They have a different way of looking at it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, well, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this one. I had a lot of fun doing this. It was awesome to catch up with you and see you again.
Thank you for having me, Stephanie. Thank you.
Well, cool. Well, for our listeners out there, watchers, I guess, because this is YouTube, but for our watchers out there, please keep in mind we are trying to do 100 of these before the end of the summer. I don't know if that one's going to happen. I think the summer technically ended like yesterday, but regardless, we're trying to do 100 of these. So if you know of someone just like Courtney, a business owner out there who would love the opportunity to share their background, their history, their story, their advice, I would love to do this interview with them. I'm Stephanie. You can get my contact info below. You can get Courtney's contact info below if you want to talk with her, have more questions, or just want to chat and maybe get her to inspire and motivate you. I'm sure she has tons of time to do nothing but that. But Courtney, thank you again for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, guys, make it a great week. Whatever target you're trying to hit, it's time to stop trying to hit your target. It's time to smash it.